Blessed One, the Lord, who fully attained perfect enlightenment, Savakato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo, do the teaching which he expounded so well, Supatipano Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, Dhammayang Bhagavantang Saddhammang Sasanghang, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, Imehi Sakarehi Atarahang Aropitehi Abhipurjayama. We render with offerings our rightful homage. Sadhu no bande bhagava suchiram parinibbhutopi. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, Vachima Janatanukamba Manasa, still had compassion for later generations. Ime sakare dukatabana karapurte patikanadu. May these simple offerings be accepted. Amakang digaratang hitaya sukhaya, for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. Arahan Samma Sambuddho Bhagava, the Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. Savakato Bhagavata Dhammo, the teaching so completely explained by him, Dhammang Namasami, I bow to the Dhamma. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, Sanghang Namami, I bow to the Sangha. Handamayang Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhuvabhaganamakarang Karomase.
Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Handamayang Buddha Bitu Tingaromase.
Now let us chant in praise of the Buddha.
Io son Tathagato Arahan Sama Sambuddho. The Tathagata is the pure one, the perfectly enlightened one. Vicharana Sampanno. He is impeccable in conduct and understanding. Sugato, the accomplished one. Lokavidur, the knower of the worlds. Anuttaro Bodhisattva-sarati. He trains perfectly those who wish to be trained. Sadadeva Madhusanang. He is teacher of gods and humans. Buddho Bhagava. He is awake and holy. Yahimang lokang sandevakang samarakang sabrahmakang. In this world with its gods, demons, and kind spirits, Sasamana Brahmaning Bhajang Sandeva Manusang Sayang Abhinya Sanjigadova Bhavedesi. Its seekers and sages, celestial and human beings, he has by deep insight revealed the truth. Yardamang Desi Adi Kalayanang Mache Kalayanang Pariyorsana Kalayanang. He has pointed out the Dhamma, beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, beautiful in the end. Sadhang Samyanjanang Kevala Paripurnang Parisudha Brahmacharyam Pakasesi. He has explained the spiritual life of complete purity in its essence and conventions. Namahang Bhagavantang Abhipujayami. Namahang Bhagavantang Sirasanamami. I chant my praise to the Blessed One. I bow my head to the Blessed One. Handamayang Dhamma Vitutingaroma Se.
Now let us chant in praise of the Dhamma.
Your source Vakato Bhagavata Namo. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Sandhitiko, apparent here and now. Akaliko, timeless. Ehipatiko, encouraging investigation. Om Banaiko, leading onwards. Bhajatang Veditako in you. To be experienced individually by the wise. Dhammahang Dhammang Abhipujayami. Dhammahang Dhammang Sirasanamami. I chant my praise to this teaching. I bow my head to this truth. Andamayang Sankha Vitutingaroma Se.
Now let us chant in praise of the Sangha.
Yo so supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. They are the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well. Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka Sangho, who have practiced directly. Yaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, who have practiced insightfully. Samiji Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, those who practice with integrity. Yatidang Chandari Purisa Yukani Yata Purisa Bhukala, that is the four pairs, the 8 kinds of noble beings. Esam Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, these are the Blessed One's disciples. Ahunayo, such ones are worthy of gifts. Pahunayo, worthy of hospitality. Dakinayo, worthy of offerings. Anjali Karaniyo, worthy of respect. Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasa, they give occasion for incomparable goodness to arise in the world. Namahang Sanghang Abhipurchayami, Namahang Sanghang Sirasanamami. I chant my praise to this Sangha. I bow my head to this Sangha. So this sense of relaxed attention, opening, receiving, like non-striving and not trying to open. Just notice how we grasp ideas, and then even the word relaxation can be an effort, kind of a compulsive striving to relax. And this is where learning to trust yourself, don't grasp any ideas and then try to make life fit into what you're perceiving, but know yourself. Be just aware of the tensions or the sense of having to strive or get something, or even the way one might regard the ideal of relaxing. So this is what we call awareness, sati sampachanya. Noticing, attentiveness, but it's not like forced in, like attention is a military command, where everybody has to snap into a rigid formation, but into attentiveness, being present, which is a relaxed state of being. And then striving and non-striving, or effort, is this word, English word effort, is how much effort, what's right effort. And then you hear various things that no effort is right effort, or you have to put a lot of effort in, you have to concentrate the mind. In order to keep out the negative thoughts, and so there's various views of regarding effort, but there's different levels of effort, and this is like intuitive effort. It's like balancing. You know it through balancing yourself. If it's too much on the right, you too much on the left, you find that point of balance through awareness, through intuitive awareness, rather than through a prescription of somebody telling you how to do it. You just know it when you're balanced. Now, physical balance, when we learn to walk, as this is, you notice how children learn to walk. They experiment, they crawl, and they pull themselves up on the furniture, and they learn how to balance through intuition, not through mother, father telling them how to walk. Mother says, "Now walk, darling." Put your right foot forward and then your left foot. It's very simple. It is, But if you've never done it, then all the best descriptions and advice, can be, doesn't mean very much till we get the feeling for it ourselves. Now I find this, like sound of silence is a balance point in consciousness, or the point that includes these ways of talking, just pointing to it in order to test it out, because it's self-sustaining. It doesn't. You don't create it, you just open to it, recognize it, and relax with it. So in this, like in the Eightfold Path, the Samma Vayamo, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, the right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. You get these different factors of the Eightfold Path. This is, find this balance point is the right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. It's not absorption into anything. So it's not an extreme. It's not, going to some extreme of controlling the mind or absorbing into an object, but it's open, balanced, receptive. Seems effortless once you recognize this. But then, the momentum of habits are strong, so that it's easy to forget it, to get lost in thought. Thinking mind starts going, doubting, wandering thoughts, and we get, caught into that. So we're distracted from it. So the cultivation of this is like when you find yourself, thinking and wandering in your mind, that point of where you suddenly recognize this. You suddenly realize, oh, I'm wandering. Then start from the present again. Just don't give it a second thought. I advise you not to go into saying, oh, I can't be mindful, I've lost it again, and get caught in kind of self-criticism. Totally worthless to indulge in that. It just makes you despairing. So it's not a matter of trying to be perfect and get this and sustain it, and every time your mind wanders or you think about something else or you get caught up in your emotions, and to kind of abuse yourself and condemn yourself for not being mindful or not being a good meditator. That's another trap. So this is where trusting yourself, these points where, the thinking mind's so high, is such a strong force in our lives for most people. We're so prone, so easily caught in thinking that it's very, there's nothing wrong with thinking, or, that this is some personal defect, but it's learning to not be just caught in that habitual thinking process, the proliferating tendencies, that thinking proliferates. They call it papancha in Pali, nice word, papancha. Some thought comes in your mind and you proliferate, it carries you away. So in this way, as soon as we recognize we're thinking, then return to the silence, recognize the sound of silence. And just learning to train yourself to do this, so that more and more this awareness, pure consciousness, awareness, is you begin to recognize the balance point, the naturalness of it, the ordinariness of it, where we might think of it as some kind of spiritual attainment or some kind of extreme meditative state, and then the thoughts created make it into an extremity again. So don't think about it. Don't try to create it into some kind of rare experience or spiritual attainment, but use it in a very practical way, referring to it until you feel at ease with it. Now with the sound of silence, even chanting begins to become more developed. Like one can learn Pali chanting and, just a kind of perfunctory repetition and be thinking about something else. Like, Namo Tassa Bhagavato, and be thinking of, just doing it without, even appreciating what I'm saying, or just a habit, part of a tradition. But you can actually, with the sound of silence, chant. And it stops the mind from wandering. It gives it has a reflective quality, Namo Tassa Bhagavato, and these words begin to, recognize these are beautiful words. What they mean, we're thinking, using beautiful concepts, beautiful words. And if you're going to think, why worry about all kinds of things and just get caught in proliferating when you can quite think beautiful words like Bhagavato, Arahato. So this is how I've developed a kind of, a devotional side to my religious practice. So when we think of Bhagavato, homage to the blessed, what does blessed mean? What is blessed? And, so translate Bhagavato into an English equivalent, but what does that really mean right now? What is blessing us at this very moment? So this is like asking the question and reflecting, what do we really mean? Is this just some sweet word that, I don't feel blessed. My knees hurt, I feel cursed. So in this, kind of savoring the meaning, Bhagavato, and this is because these words are quite powerful when you really make them fully conscious and appreciate them. That we have this, our thinking ability. We have this ability to create words that convey very beautiful states of mind. Now, when I'm in this sound of silence, I think I feel blessed by it. And this is my own reflection on it. It's blessing me. Because it stops that proliferating, the nagging, tyrannical superego I have, the jackal, the inner tyrant. The tyrant ceases. I'm in this state of like being blessed, a blessed state. It's like this. So the blessings are are always present. It's whether you're aware of it or not. Whether you're open to blessings is something else. When I'm caught in striving and complaining and so forth about life or whatever, and then I feel a different way. I feel, life is so difficult. It's just, nobody's ever content with anything, and there's all these problems all the time and crises, and I get into whining and whinging, and I just want to go off to my cave. Tired of Sangha life, fed up with it. Somebody's always, creating some kind of difficulty, and then, of course, I don't feel blessed when I'm lost in that one. But what is it that knows this? Knows when I'm in my state of complaining and negativity and blaming and so forth, is like this. So I'm not just trying to suppress this tendency, but really feel the effect of thinking negative thoughts, complaining about life. And it's like this. When I notice if I start complaining, then I feel this way. It's a kind of like an intuition, awareness of this negative state. It's not pleasant at all. It's not peaceful. It's not a state I want to cultivate and be reborn into. I don't want to be reborn in next life as a complaining, critical person, because it's a kind of hell realm. To have that is the kind of way one's experiencing life through consciousness, is just through negative thinking patterns. So then the devotional side of a religious path become more apparent, not just kind of sentimentalizing or blind kind of winding oneself up into an ecstatic state, but observing the power of thinking, in using thought as reminder, as a reflective ability. What is blessing? What is blessedness at this moment? And it's always means something good, something beautiful. You feel, that this is a part. You don't feel separate and isolated and lonely and complaining. So in this, being blessed by this stillness, this still point, then these words like Bhagavato, Arahato, Samma Sambuddhassa, this traditional Theravadan mantra, homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Suddenly, it's a beautiful kind of reflection, a way to think or chant. So you can chant sound of silence, Namo Tassa. I can hear while I'm chanting Namo Tassa. I'm in this stillness, this sound of silence. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. And then they, carrying that on through the chants, the rest of it. Now this is traditional and in that, but it's also how to use it so that it's not just perfunctory parroting of Pali words. Now, effort is coming from just willpower, from the ego. I've got to get this, that. I want to attain the jhanas. I want to get my samadhi. This kind of effort is a kind of joyless willfulness. So it's me. At least this is how I experienced it. My life in the Sangha in the beginning, a lot of it was pretty joyless because I was so willful and that's all I knew, how to operate from striving and making myself do things and disciplining myself and trying to attain states and this idea of attainment, getting something, was very strong, very habitual pattern. But it also was joyless. It made the life, monastic life, a kind of joyless grind for me. Because there's too much, sense of me trying to get something from it and demanding results. And so I wasn't developing the qualities, the jhana factors in any way. I was just, started from reading Visuddhimagga and trying to attain these levels of concentration through what I read in a book. So, and that was interpreted from my ego and from and put into practice through the willfulness, the striving tendencies that I developed from ego, from me trying to succeed and get. So even when I would get, concentrated in that, it's, there would always be a sense of loss. The story I tell when I had malaria, the kind of despair I felt, because I felt I was really getting somewhere with my samadhi up till then. I was at this branch monastery in Thailand, and I felt I was really getting somewhere, really disciplined, sitting many hours a day, concentrating the mind, really getting somewhere. And then suddenly, this blasted disease, feels weak, enervated, terrible, can't meditate, can't concentrate, can't do anything. So then the suffering of losing what, this sense of I've got something and now I've lost it. And malaria is the problem. And then Luang Por Chah's reflection on it, when I complained to him about it, he said, malaria, that's your practice, learn from that. And that was, so I did, and I began to, rather than just complain about it and resent it, I started observing what it is. What's it like to have malarial fevers and the physical sensations that come from having this disease? Different way, isn't it? Suddenly instead of just trying to how can I get rid of this malaria so I can get my practice together again, because it's disrupting it. Luang Por Chah did not see any kind of problem as malaria as being obstructive to mindfulness. So the path isn't obstructed through disease. But the big obstructions are ignorance and self-view and all the rest. These are the fetters, what they call the fetters, that obstruct the path. Not malaria, not noisy scenes or anything else. It's not like that. It's the way we, our understanding. This understanding then is what this right understanding is where the path becomes apparent, and this path then is not obstructed through the conditions we're experiencing. Now, in the monastic life, like you have what they call samana sanya reflections, where you chant. It's because it's an alms mendicant lifestyle. The Buddha allowed 4 requisites. So he allowed us to have robes, an alms bowl to collect food, a shelter for the night, and medicine for illnesses, for basic requisites. So one of the ways of developing monastic lifestyle is reflecting on these 4 requisites, which lead to contentment. So contentment, say, with what you have, is a very basic mental state towards understanding, towards happiness, and even like developing jhanas. These kind of the jhanas are quite easily developed through not through me striving to get them, but through contentment, through basic kind of sense of contentment and gratitude. So in these two, before I had felt contentment or gratitude, then my attempts at meditation were coming from the ego, the sense of me striving, proving myself, getting something, and then the kind of resentment when what I'd get I'd lose. So that was not I didn't experience joy in monastic life when I was operating like that, from just trying to use it to get something for myself. So in the life as we lived it with Luang Por Chah was a lot of this samana sanya reflection, which helped me to appreciate, because the alms food that people offer, the robes, the shelter for the night, kind of basic, not high standards. They're the lowest standard, like rag robes. You're thinking of not getting high quality robes, but in this idea of being content. So you're content with, if nobody offers any kind of nice material, then the Buddha would allow us to go and pick up the refuse rags that the lay people throw away, or you find used to wrap the corpses in cloth. We could go and take the cloth, the bang sakula cloth. And so it's based on a very low standard of in lowest quality possible. The stuff that the lay people throw out, we can pick up and make a robe out of. Or every year, at the end of the Vasa, the traditional season retreat, then the katina ceremonies are where lay people gather to buy material and offer, or weave material in the time of the Buddha, offered to the bhikkhus, bhikkhunis. So we don't have to go out into the charnel ground and get some disgusting kind of cloth that a corpse is rotted in. We can But it is, this reflection, though, creates a sense of gratitude, isn't it? Because the lay community is always offering the best material they can find. They're not offering you the kind of cheapest, worst fabric they find. They're usually looking for good quality. So, but this isn't a demand, you see. This isn't, say, you have to get me, for our katina ceremony, get me the best. So this, then, because when you reflect in this way, the generosity extended and the caring of the lay community, where they put forth the effort to find good material so you can have a robe, then this creates this sense of gratitude. Gatanyu Gataveti is a powerful experience. So there's contentment and gratitude. This is the foundation for the holy life. Not attaining jhanas or getting to nibbana and all that in some kind of, egotistical attitude anymore, but in the simplicity and kind of humility. Simple gratitude for the food offered. So that we're not like alms food is not, you're not saying I have to have this kind of food and you have to make it and give it to me. The alms mendicant as a bindabat is dropping into the bowl. I mean, whatever people drop into the bowl. So this is like alms mendicancy. So you feel this gratitude for the food offered, rather than complain about it because you don't like this and they didn't bring your favorite dish. I found this very helpful living in Thailand, because I developed. I thought this is beautiful life, because you're the receiver of so much goodness every day, so much generosity. In the parts of Thailand where I'd live, oftentimes were very poor, village village people in rural Thailand, but they were always generous. Very what they had, they shared quite joyfully. Not only with the Thai monks, with the Western monks. So was felt an increasing sense of gratitude, and that applies to shelter for the night or medicine. Like in the scriptures, like fermented urine is the standard. And that's obviously, a very ancient remedy for illness. So in England we have national health system. So much better than fermented urine. So one can only feel gratitude, It's very, this is like, you see, like in England, people complain about the national health system a lot, but I don't, because of this reflective quality that you develop through contemplating the four requisites. So it's encouraging this, in your own life, to this striving and this tendency always wanting something you don't have, trying to get something, trying to attain something, either, on a material level, a higher standard of living, or in the meditation, always striving to get, and this attitude of attainment. To be recognized. What is it like? What does it feel like to always feel you're not good enough? You have to get something. That all your life, even when you come here, you're here to get something. And you're sitting in meditation in order to attain something. Now, to me, when I'm noticing that kind of pushy movement of my mind, it's very unpleasant when you see this always feeling I've got to get something I don't have. I've got to, or what I have, I've got to get rid of my bad thoughts or my bad moods, and this sense of having to do something. Now this is the bhava danha vipava danha of the second noble truths. The causes of suffering, grasping, desire for becoming, or desire to get rid of. So it's like reflecting on this. I want something I don't have, and I observe this. I want that kind of, I remember last retreat at Spirit Rock, I really had a wonderful experience. And in this retreat, I'm not getting it. I want it. And you can, be aware that this wanting something is always based on, either idealizing or remembering. But that which is aware, this awareness, puts that wanting into the perspective where you can see it, and recognize the suffering you create by attaching to it, by being caught in these desires, just enslaved by these desires, and it feels like this, always, something's always wrong. And when I get something, wanting to keep it, and then getting very upset if somebody disrupts, my concentration. I used to get very selfish, like really, annoyed at some minor things, somebody moving too loudly. I've got to practice alone because in meditation all people cough and they do things, that disrupt me. I think, in some places they even ban you from wearing nylon jackets and Velcro and things like this. You get sitting in a meditation hall and somebody is undoing their Velcro. You really hate them. So it's rather amusing. But you recognize that this is because you don't want that. You don't want that noise that disrupts you because you're trying to get or keep hold of something you like. So this is where this control freak attitude that usually comes to meditators is bhavadanha, vipavadanha. And then you observe, when I get into my controlling mode, this is not a peaceful state. It's always under threat. I'm always under threat. If I lose control or somebody, misbehaves, my mental state is affected by that, and I'm threatened by that. It's always, resentment or anger arise. So in its reflecting on, developing this sense of contentment and gratitude, then I find this brings me into a place where jhanas are coming from a stable foundation rather than just from from my personal wish to accomplish something. Because these jhana factors are quite, available. Viddhaka vichara piti sukha ekagata. And this viddhaka vichara, this is like bringing the subject into consciousness, the thought itself, and which leads with say a beautiful thought like metta, the subject of metta practice. Metta's beautiful, concept, loving kindness, and then leads to piti sukha, rapture, kind of well-being, feeling of well-being and mental happiness, which lead to ekagata, or one-pointedness. So these are, they're coming from contentment and gratitude rather than from me trying to attain something, that I want, through controlling the environment. So in my experience with Luang Por Chah he was very much, this is what he was pointing at in the monastic life that we lived in Wat Pah Pong, was developing this foundation of contentment and gratitude, which I developed there, because I used to get a lot of piti, just the kind of the feeling of rapture, of just thinking how I'm being blessed by all this opportunity, these good things, the teaching, the generosity of the lay people, the opportunity to practice the Dhamma. I get into a right state of tears, this kind of tears come to your eyes with joy and happy mental state. This is a devotional side that makes one's life very a joyful and beautiful experience.
Well, speaking of blessings, we could do the chant on page 32, the highest blessings, the Mangala Sutta. Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta's Grove, in Anathapindika's park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated all Jeta's Grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side, she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings. Living in places of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings. Accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings. Providing for mother and father's support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings. Giving with Dhamma in the heart, offering help to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings. Steadfast in restraint and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings. Respectfulness and of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings. Patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings. The holy life lived with ardent effort, seeing for oneself the noble truths, and the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings. Although involved in worldly ways, unshaken the mind remains, and beyond all sorrow, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. They who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings.
Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava, the Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, Buddhang Bhagava
Buddha, the Blessed One.
Suvakato Bhagavata Dhammo, the teaching so completely explained by him, Dhammang Namasami,
I bow to the Dhamma.
Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, Sanghang Namami,
I bow to the Sangha.